Okay, so what I've got here is really all you need to set up your sounds and controls for the Minion FX System. And what I'm using here is just one of my older laptops. So I just wanted to show that this will work on an older laptop. So what we've got here is the headset. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. We're going to be using that here in a moment. We have the key fob, or the remote wireless controller with the buttons on it. I'm going to want that handy. We have the Cat 5 cable, which goes in here on the bottom, but we're not going to need that right now. And we have the USB controller, or the USB port, which is this. And you have, this is real similar to what you'll find on like a standard printer. Okay? In fact, this is the exact same thing. This is a USB cable. So the Minion is going to operate a little differently depending on the operating system that you're using. In this instructional video, I'm using Windows 8 on an old laptop. And there is a certain procedure that I use. And that's just the order and when to turn it on and when to plug it in. This is a newer computer, and it's my editing system, and it's operating on Windows 10. So Windows 10 and anything newer is going to operate a little bit differently. So in the video, in this training video, what works on the laptop is, in this order, is plug in the Minion with it turned off. Then I turn it on, let it blink 7 times, and it will become active because the download button will not be grayed out. So I'm going to turn this off. Now Windows 10, it's a little different. It's just reversed. So I suggest doing this little test and figure out what's going to work for your system. Now with the software here, I don't have to have anything in here. I just need to have the software active. So I just clicked on the executable file and I've got my software. I don't have to program my buttons or anything. We're just testing it to see if it's talking to the system or not. So on Windows 7 and Windows 8, like on my laptop, the procedure I'm doing that works with that is I plug in the Minion, the USB port real quick here. Okay. And then I turn it on. It'll blink 7 times. And the download button will not be grayed out anymore. So Windows 10 is a little different. I'm going to kind of reset here. Now I'm going to take my Minion and I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to let it blink 7 times and get to its steady slow blink. Okay, so it blinks 7 times real fast. And now I'm going to plug it in and you'll see the download button is now active. So that's just a quick little test you can do to figure out the order and what is going to work for your Minion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the Minion is off. I know it's charged. Okay, got my little blinking light there. Okay, I want to turn it off. That's a big key. Okay, very important. And I am going to plug in the USB, and I'm going to find an open port here on my laptop, and I'm going to plug that in. Okay, the key. I have the Minion is turned off. I know it's charged. I have the USB plugged in. It's plugged into my laptop, and I have the software open. Okay, now it is safe to go ahead and turn the Minion on, and you're going to get the little blinking lights here. Okay, it's going to go to a steady blink, which is what we want. And now I can go into my controls here and set the sounds and the type of control here. So in other words, how this is going to work, whether it's going to be a toggle or restart. Okay, so I can set all these right here in the software. So essentially, this set of buttons right here is this set here. Now I can have a whole nother key fob controller over here. So we can have 6 sounds and 6 sounds if you want to get another key fob. So that's 12 sounds altogether. Now you can also have your key fob, but you can get the hacker kit. Now this is essentially just what is inside the key fob. Okay, it's the same software and everything. And this is going to be in another video, but what you can do is wire buttons, and we can use any type of button. This is just the VFX standard button, and we can wire buttons wherever we want and put this controller, hide it in something if we want, in a prop or in a costume or something like that. So, and then we can have remote buttons, okay? Or we can have these, or you can have 2 of these, okay? 12 altogether in any combination, just that these are basically the same thing. So in order to program or upload sounds and files into the Minion FX system, you're going to need the software. Now the software is free and you can find it on vfxcreates.com. So you can go to the home page and go over here to downloads, and you click on the downloads page, and this is where we've got pretty much everything you need. So we've got the Puppet Master sound system, we've got the Minion sound system, we've got links to Audacity, which is audio software that's open source, so it's free to use, and I've got a video explaining how to operate Audacity and properly prepare your files to be used in the Minion FX system and the Puppet Master. And we've got some free audio files that are kind of standards that you'll find in a lot of the VFX products. So we've got Werewolf, X46, the Banshee box, some Psycho the Clown, and Zombie Attack. Now these are some real popular sound files, and they're some of the files that are actually used and loaded onto the Puppet Master when you purchase one of the Attack Line products, a Crate Creature, or Lunging Line products. Now all those use the Puppet Master sound system, but what we're talking about is the Minion FX system, which is kind of the big brother of the Puppet Master. And if you're wondering about the differences between the two, we've got a video that explains the biggest differences between the Puppet Master and the Minion. So what we're going to focus on in this video is the Minion FX system and how to properly use the software to program your sounds and your controllers, or your keyfobs, which are the remote control buttons for the Minion FX system. So first thing we're going to need is the Minion FX system software. So I'm just going to click on this, and it takes us to a whole nother page, which is on the Minion FX system website, and download these things directly too. So here we've got the Minion software user guide, which is a PDF, the Minion software itself, the Minion port data sheet, which is something we'll use later. That is going to be used for if you're using the Minion to program the Minion to control hardware like motors, servos, relays, and things like that. But this video, we're just going to focus on getting started and uploading some audio clips into the Minion, which is the most popular thing. So a great thing to do is just go down here at the bottom and click on the all-in-one Minion starter kit. Then you can click on that, and it's going to automatically download the starter package as a zip file. So I've got the zip file downloaded, and I dropped it onto my desktop, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to just extract it. So just by dragging and dropping the folder onto my desktop. So now I've got the zip file, which I can get rid of, and now we've got just the folder itself. So here we've got the Minion software, the application, and we got links here, and then we've got the data sheet and the software user guide. So there's something else that we're going to need, and that is some files to work with. So let me go ahead and close that, and let's open up our browser again. And I'm going to go back to the vfxcreates.com website, the downloads page, and I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom, close that, scroll down here to the bottom, and we want to download some files. So I'm going to download a group of files that we're going to use. So they're .wav files, and one of the reasons I suggest using these files as you're getting started is we know these files work. They're properly formatted, so this is a great way to start. Now in the video explaining how to create these files, we'll go over how to properly set the format. But for now, let's use something we know that works. So the easiest way to do this is you can play these. Okay, probably pretty loud there. You can play these. You got your little volume control here. Okay, so if you want to download those, the easiest thing to do is go here and right click and save link as. I'm going to click on that. Now we've got, this is a WAV file, and now I can just download it. See down here, it downloaded pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and download these and build a little library, a little folder set that we're going to be using to upload
to the Minion. Okay, so now I've got my Minion audio files here. I've downloaded a nice little group of files that we're going to be using to upload into the Minion or have the Minion download from the software. It's the same thing. And I like to say upload, but I'll show you why I said download in the software. So let's go ahead and close that. Now I've got my Minion executable here that I just dropped on the desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. We're going to look at the software. So this is basically the software. So for this first upload or download, we're going to focus on one device right here, an RF device, and that is your key fob. In this section here is the first button, second button, third button, and so forth. Up here is where we add the RF device. So this is your key fob. There's a number on the back. And this is how we assign a button to our microphone. So we just go here and click on button 1, and that would make button 1 would turn on and off our microphone or headset mic. And here is where we'd set a loop. So if we wanted to use music and we just wanted to click the button and have the music just loop continuously, this is how you do that. This is a great way to use smaller files and shorter tracks and just loop them. So instead of having 5, 10, 15 minutes of music playing, you can just use a short clip and use the loop function, and then when you click the button, it's just going to continuously loop that file and play it back. So this is a great way to save memory space on your Minion. And since most of the ways you use a product like this, they're just quick scares, and then you're going to move on to the next, or you're going to, shortly be entertaining a small crowd or something like that. So having short clips looped is a great way to, again, save on space so you're not eating up all your internal memory on just one file. The mode here is toggle or restart. So what toggle means is it's going to turn the sound on, and then you push the button again and it'll turn it off. Restart is exactly what it sounds like. So it's going to, you click the button, it starts the sound clip, and then when you hit the button again, it's going to restart it. So that works great with like a gunshot. So you can just hit the button multiple times, bang, 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 bang. And for now, we're not going to talk about channels. We're going to leave this on channel 1 for now. And event file name, this is where we would upload a command file that tells the Minion to operate a servo or a relay or electric motor or an LED light or something like that that's plugged into it. This is a little more advanced. We're not going to worry about that right now, but we have a video showing you how to use this. And it's actually pretty simple. It sounds more complicated than it really is. And this is where we're going to place our file. So on button number 2, I'm just going to go in here, and I've navigated to my desktop and where the audio files that I just downloaded off the VFX website are sitting. And I'm going to choose the Clown Attack Long for this one. And on button number 3, let's do the Clown Attack Short. Button number 4, Clown Breathing. Button number 5, Clown Music. And button number 6, Box Scream. And just as a note, I'm bouncing back and forth between a live video that I shot where I actually have the laptop, and then we've got this more detailed view which I did on a completely different computer. So everything should match up for the most part. And I'll be playing around with setting things different, like a toggle and a restart and things like that. And you'll get the idea once we start testing the Minion when everything's uploaded.
So here is the other little secret to doing this properly and where a lot of people screw up. If you notice on the back of your key fob, you have a little set of numbers here, okay? And you'll also see that set of numbers on, like if you get a hacker kit. And each set of numbers is unique and different. These set of numbers go up here where it says RF device, radio frequency. What we want is we want to tell this software and the Minion to use this set of settings and communicate with this key fob, with this remote. So we're going to basically assign this key fob. So you can use any key fob or any hacker kit and assign them however you want. And this is how we do it.
So the last thing I need to do is enter in my address. So we've got DEAD0100B5. And I'm going to set button 5 to loop, because this is a clown music, and we just want that to play over and over when I click the button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and click download. And it's going to tell me that anything that is on here, the current settings, is going to be replaced by this. So that's always good to know. A good way to work through this is to organize your work. So if you've got a set of files you know you want to use, maybe put them in a folder, keep some notes as to what you're using here. If you get really good, you'll just kind of have it memorized if you're doing this a lot. And I would suggest just maybe practicing, just get in and screw around and have some fun with it. So this is going to erase everything that is on this Minion and replace it with these new settings. That happens every time you download into the Minion. It wipes it clean and uses the new settings. Now you see here, this is going to take a little bit. It's going through and downloading each of those files. Some of these WAV files are pretty long. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and we're going to come back. Okay, so now the download has been completed successfully. Now let's see if everything works. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I can turn off the Minion, but I'm going to unplug it. Okay. So now let's turn it back on. So I can get my blinking light here. And it's a steady blink. Okay. So I also suggest that you turn it down. Let's just turn it up just a little bit. And now let's go ahead and click one of our buttons. We're going to hit the first button down here, and there's nothing. That's because that is the microphone. So we're going to hit button number 2. Turn it up a little bit. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. And number 6. 6 is on a loop, so I'm going to stop it by hitting the button again. Okay. Button number 5. So it starts down here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So button 5, kind of upside down here. Okay. So button 5 is our clown music, and it's on a loop too. So I start and stop it by clicking it. Now let's go to button number 2, which is the attack long. Okay. And it's set to toggle, so you can hear how toggle works. Now let's go ahead and check the headset mic. Okay, I'm just going to put the headset mic on here. We're going to plug it into mic jack right there. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, turn that down a little bit. Okay, I've got it close to my microphone, so you probably want to put this on your belt or something like that. But you can hear that button number 1 is turning my mic on and off. Check 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to program a second module, a second key fob, and we're going to change the settings up a little bit and play with that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and unplug the microphone. Now since it's turned off here, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in the USB. Okay, it's plugged in, my software is up. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Let it blink. Now I got my steady blinks. Okay. Now we're going to grab our other remote, and I'm going to kind of keep them separate here. Now, since I've got button 1 over here assigned to my microphone, I'm going to use device number 2. I'm going to go ahead and use all 6 of these buttons. Now, one thing to note on the microphone is you have something that's called gain control. Okay. And we've got it by default set to 18. So if you want the mic more sensitive, you can set it up here. If it's feeding back a little bit, then you want to turn the gain down. That's like turning down, kind of like turning down the volume internally. So you can adjust that here. So you might want to play with that first and just see how you like it. Then determine what you want to use, what setting you want to use, and then you can go ahead and program the rest of your buttons. You don't have to use the microphone. You can, of course, make this none and go ahead and have another button available.
So on this second device, we're going to use the x46 attack here, and I want that as a restart. We're going to use breathing 1, restart, laughing, x46 laughing, again restart, x46 struggling, so restart. And here we're going to use the Banshee Scream, restart, and the music box whispers, and restart. So I got to program our device, DE AD 010099.
And I'm going to hit download. It's going to tell me that it's going to wipe everything from this box, which is fine. So let me go ahead and do that, and it's going to do its thing. Now it's going to rewrite all of these, so it's going to take a few minutes. Now the download is complete. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to turn this off, just as an exercise. I always turn things off when I unplug them. And I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And let's go ahead and check our buttons. So right now, these all should work. Okay, that is our music box whisper. So that's button number 1. It's a Banshee Scream. That's x46. So what restart is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to hit the button and restart it. So that can come in real handy. So it's not going to turn it on and off, it's just going to restart the sound. I've got 2 things going. Nothing. So I'm toggling, turn it off, and restarting. So that is basically how you can operate and utilize all 12 sounds using 2 different key fobs, whether it is a hacker key fob or a regular standard key fobs. So here's a nice little tip on working and experimenting when you're figuring out how you want to operate your Minion and how you want the sounds to work, how you want the buttons to trigger, and all that kind of fun stuff. So as you remember, I said that whenever you have the software and you plug the Minion in, it completely rewrites it. Okay, so what I did was I just reopened up the software and just plugged some things in, and I've got, let's say this is, pretend this is a set of settings I want to use. I've programmed my RF device, so I've associated them together so that they will talk, and my Minion is off. I'm going to plug the Minion in here. Then I'm going to plug in to the computer. Now I'm going to turn it on, kick the volume down a little bit, and I am going to go ahead and download these settings. So again, it's going to rewrite everything that was on here, all that work I did before. It's going to rewrite everything. I only have 1 button now, or 1 set, 1 key fob working. And I hit OK. Now it's going to take it a second to download. I know it sounds weird. I think upload, download. Or the Minion is downloading these files and these settings. So it has completed its download successfully. I'm going to go ahead and check it here. I'm going to turn my device off. I'm going to then unplug it. I'm going to turn it down. Down. Turn it on. Hit a button. Slowly turn it up a little bit. Okay, so it sounds like everything is working properly. All right, so let's say that I'm not happy with one of the settings. So I've left the software up. I haven't changed anything. All I did was turn the Minion off and unplugged it, checked it. What we're going to do is we're going to leave this open while I'm working and while I'm figuring out how I want to set my buttons and play with all that. So what I want to do is go through the same process I did before. I'm going to turn my Minion off. I already have it plugged into the laptop here. I'm going to plug it in. My software is still up. I haven't changed anything. I'm going to turn it on, let it blink, and then go to the slow blink. Okay, set it down. So let's just say I want to change a couple simple little things, or I want to change out a file. I'm happy with the most of it. Let's just, for the sake of exercise here, let's say I want to change this to a toggle. I like this one better as a restart. And I think I want to change the breathing here to clown music. So whatever the file might be. Now I'm going to go down here to download. And it's going to tell me, hey, I'm rewriting everything. And that's fine. I am rewriting everything, but I kept pretty much the same settings. So I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to re-download all that. The Minion is going to download all these files and settings. So this is a great way when you're experimenting around, have a little block of time, organize your work, and just leave the software open and just get used to turning the Minion off, unplugging it, checking it, turning it off again, plug it in, turn the Minion back on. And that way you can maintain your settings here while you're working and you're experimenting. This is how I learned the Minion, and I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff with I had, the two remotes, and I had one remote triggering two different Minions, and there's just all kinds of great stuff that you can do. So, but anyway, so that is a great hack and a great way to work, so you don't have to go and redo everything every single time you want to, make a little change. Just try and work in groups like this, and again, organize your work and organize your files. Now we've got a real good idea of how to use the Minion and the Minion software. We're going to elaborate a little bit, and we're going to explore using channel 1 and channel 2. Now I'm going to keep this one really simple since we've gone through all the basics. So what I've done so far is I went ahead and programmed the RF device, so we're already set there, and we're only going to use 2 files, maybe 3, and show you the difference in how to use channel 1 and channel 2. So I've got my software up. I'm going to plug in my Minion, and to turn it on, I've got my flashing lights, got my steady light. I'm going to set it down here. I'm going to turn it down. And now I'm going to go over here to button number 1, and I'm going to use the Banshee Music Box Whisper. That one's just kind of cool. I'm going to hit open. Now I'm going to tell this one I want it to loop, because that's going to be like my music background. And I've got this one set on channel 2. So it's here, channel 1, channel 2. Now on this one, I'm going to use one of the scares, so like the attack, X46 attack. And then just for fun, let's do down here, let's do the Banshee Scream. And since these are both kind of short, I'm going to set these both to restart, because they're just really simple short wave files. Everything's ready to go, so down here I'm going to hit my download, get my warning, I'm going to hit yes, and it's going to rewrite everything. And these longer files take a little bit longer to download, so the key is just to be patient and go find something else to do, grab a cup of coffee or something, and just be patient. Okay, now the download has completed successfully, so I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to take my Minion, I'm going to turn it off, I'm going to unplug it, and we're going to set it right here. I've got it turned down a little bit, I'm going to turn it on, crank the volume up just a little bit, and hit my button number 1. Okay, so that is my button number 1. Now, button number 1 is on channel 2, and it's on a loop. So, turn it up a little bit. Okay, so I've got it on button number 1, and since it's looped, it's automatically set to toggle, so I turn it on and off. Now, the key is, by having it on channel 2 and channel 1, they can play over top of each other. Okay, so example, the music is playing here. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit one of the button number 2, which is our attack. and my music keeps playing in the background. So that is real simple. That's how you can use number 1 and number 2. Channels 1 and channel 2, and I can turn it off. So this is great for just background music and things like that. And again, this will work same with 2 different devices on both channels. So you have device number 1 and device number 2, and then you have channel 1 and channel 2 within each of these devices. These batteries last a long time, so you kind of get used to them always being, always being juiced up, because it's phenomenal. I'm really blown away by how well these batteries last. That's a lot of what the weight in here is the battery. So good habit, so always make sure you turn it off. So I'm going to leave you with one more little tip, and that is you probably want to write this number down, the number on the back of your key fob. Now you want to do that in case something happens, or this gets rubbed off, or the key fob gets damaged in some way. So take a picture of it with your phone or something like that, and make sure you've got it in a couple places. That way, if it is damaged, you've always got the code, and you can even put a new sticker on the back. If you have any more questions about your Minion, please drop us a line. And also be sure to follow us on your favorite social media network, and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That way you'll be notified when we come out with new videos.